Yo, what's good, people? So November 22nd, we have Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri taking place in Macau, China once again, which seems to be the hotbed for Manny Pacquiao in November now. This is, I think, a fight that most boxing fans and casual fans in general aren't really super geeked about or really eager to see. But Chris Algieri is getting the opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, was virtually an unknown last year, and he gets a win over Ruslan Provodnikov, a controversial decision, and he's given this huge opportunity on a huge stage against one of the great fighters in the last 25 to 30 years. Now with Manny Pacquiao, we obviously, it's no secret the last 2 years have been somewhat of a roller coaster for him, from the point of him getting knocked out, or even before then of him catching that L from Timothy Bradley, and again, controversial fashion. Makes up for it this past April, but we haven't, for the most part, seen that ferocious and dominating Manny Pacquiao that we've come to see really blitz these guys, you know. But I think we have to also realize this is a Manny Pacquiao removed from that knockout. It's questionable whether we're ever going to see that Pacquiao from like 2009 and 2010 that fought the Miguel Cottos and the Antonio Margaritos. I want to think that Pacquiao's gone, but that's not to say that Manny Pacquiao is still not an effective fighter. I mean, we have to remember really the overall fighter that this guy is, and the guys he's fought, and just his overall ability as a fighter. People will look at Manny Pacquiao and say, well, you know, he makes mistakes here, he makes mistakes there, but he's one of those guys that he makes up for it in other departments where it's like, I've told this to people several times. An ordinary boxer isn't going to beat Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Just because you have a jab and decent defense and you know how to counter, you're not going to, that's not in total what it takes to beat Manny Pacquiao. So that's why I've always said it takes an exceptional boxer to give Manny Pacquiao problems or beat him. And when you look at guys like an Eric Morales, he is an exceptional boxer, fighter. Marquez, he's an exceptional boxer, counterpuncher. You know, and some people will say that Floyd Mayweather, same thing. He's an exceptional boxer. In this situation, man, Chris Algieri is a very good boxer. You know, you can argue whether or not he beat Ruslan Provodnikov depending on how you judge fights. I think both people can make cases as far as, you know, people who think that Ruslan won and Algieri won. In the situation with Manny Pacquiao, though, I think that the general public, as far as the boxing circles and people who really watch boxing, based on what I've been reading, again, you know, I think Chris Algieri just might be being oversold a bit. The overall competition he's faced, and now facing a guy like Manny Pacquiao, who isn't, like I said, the guy from 2009, but is still an exceptional fighter. And I really think Algieri is going to have trouble with Manny Pacquiao. The size differential is understandable, but at the same time, I don't think Chris Algieri pumps out enough punches or is good enough to move as people think. I mean, I've gone back and watched some of his fights, and Manny Pacquiao there's a difference between having good footwork and having quick feet. Manny Pacquiao has very quick feet and can dart in and out, but you know, he doesn't have the footwork like, you know, like guys who know how to cut the ring off and what have you. But I just think Algieri, for the most part, man, is gonna have trouble kind of keeping up with Manny Pacquiao, even at this stage, man, because when people were talking about Ruslan Provodnikov and Manny Pacquiao, and they're saying, oh, Provodnikov's gonna body him, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are seeing, man. You know what I mean? I think there is levels. Like, you've heard this term. There's levels in boxing. Manny Pacquiao's still at a level here. Algieri's not at that level, guys. I mean, he's a very good boxer, and I think there are other boxers that I'm not going to go through names right now, but I can name several guys that I think would beat Chris Algieri based overall of what I've seen in the past with him. And again, like, Emmanuel Taylor and Ruslan Provodnikov aren't benchmarks for Manny Pacquiao. I mean, again, this is a huge leap in competition for Chris Algieri, and I think a lot of people are looking more so on maybe Manny Pacquiao taking those steps down, but I don't think he's that down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think he's in his peak or in his prime anymore, but I don't think Chris Algieri has the overall tools to beat Manny Pacquiao. Good boxer, very good boxer, not at that level. Not an exceptional boxer to beat Manny Pacquiao, because like I said, it's gonna take a lot more than, you know, pumping a jab and giving Manny an angle here and there to beat him. I have Pacquiao winning a decision. You know, I mean, I think for some reason I don't think he's gonna unload on Algieri as much. I mean, I don't know if Algieri's gonna be able to take the shots that Manny gives. I mean, because Manny's always like one left hook away from turning a fight around, but sometimes he just takes it easy on these guys and he just kind of gives them the paycheck. If I were Pacquiao, I would attempt to hurt and take out Chris Algieri, and I think even still at this point, Pacquiao can still do that. I don't think he's gonna do it, but I just see Pacquiao overwhelming Chris Algieri with his movement. Again, just quick feet, being able to dart in and out, and again, like as I mentioned in the past, he doesn't fight in rhythm. Like he gives you these feints and like he just lands these lead lefts, and he has a way of kind of, he lunges in, but people don't look sometimes at like how these little subtle movements that he makes. Like Marquez is able to catch him in certain spots, but people got to remember he's fought him 4 times. You know, you fight somebody 4 times, I don't care who you are, man. You're gonna start to learn the guy's, you know, his reflexes and his subtle movements. Chris Algieri, again, he's never seen a guy like this, and he's not gonna be able to be prepared to be able to block everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if he stuns Chris Algieri or even like drops him at one point. I think Chris Algieri is gonna get a nice check for this. You know, it's a great experience. I just don't think at this point he's at the level of a Manny Pacquiao, even a tapering down Manny Pacquiao. So I expect a pretty wide unanimous decision, and Chris Algieri having little moments throughout the fight, but for the most part I see a dominant Manny Pacquiao. And from that point on, man, I mean, again, I'm not going to talk about Mayweather-Pacquiao because I don't think it's going to happen. So I really don't know who's going to fight after this. So we'll just have to see how this transpires. I think the best bet for Manny Pacquiao is a knockout. It's something he hasn't had in quite a while, since Miguel Cotto. So if he's able to do that, man, I mean, I think it would just kind of send some shockwaves to try to attempt to make the fight, even though I think it's just going to be the same bullshit again. So I got Manny Pacquiao beating Chris Algieri by decision. Let me know what you think. As I always say, subscribe, hit the links, and I'll be back with you soon.